He called my a beach and moved his truck with a scowl on his face even though he could literally see that I was tending to my sick kid. While my son was getting checked at the doctor's and I was waiting on test results, I shot off another email to my house owners association about what had just happened. The HOA said that they received my email, made a note of it, and advised my property was my own and I could give or deny access to it as I wish. Thankfully, all tests administered to my son came back negative and I was told it was a run-of-the-mill virus and he would be fine. The virus just had to run its course. I took him home and called it a day. Saturday evening, my oldest started complaining of a sore throat and I was starting to feel poorly myself. My youngest appeared to be getting better, so I figured that whatever he had, that we were getting, so we stayed in all day Saturday and Sunday. Sunday evening at about 5:30 my oldest son spiked a fever and while it came down a little, it didn't come down enough, so I loaded him in the car and off to a minor emergency we went. The only one I could find that was open on Sunday at this time was on the other side of town, so I had to drive 20 minutes just to get there and we ended up waiting for 3 hours to just get in the door and then another 45 minutes till we saw the doctor. After a few more hours and all of his tests come back negative, the doctor did state that she could hear some wheezing in his lungs and so she prescribed an inhaler for him to help him, but basically told me the same thing, that he has a run-of-the-mill virus and to let it run its course. I had to drive even further to the only 24-hour pharmacy available to pick up the inhaler and we did not get back to the house until almost midnight. Let me set the scene for you. My son is half asleep in the passenger seat and complaining that he just wants to go home, and I am exhausted and feeling drained and coughing fits myself, and I'm just looking forward to going to bed when I rounded the corner and saw that truck sitting in my driveway. I couldn't even pull in because he was blocking me, and I also noticed that he was parked partially on my lawn. I was so mad I could hardly see straight. I googled and found a 24-hour tow truck service and explained that I had an unauthorized vehicle on my property that I needed towing. The woman said it would be about 30 minutes before they could get a truck there, and I said that was fine. In the meantime, I walked my kid to the house and put him to bed and then quickly went outside and took a picture from the street to show how much of the driveway he was taking and that he was also parked on my lawn. I couldn't understand why they would park in my driveway again after I had told them no, and the only thing I could come up with is that since there had been no activity at my house for hours, that my neighbors probably assumed I was in for the night and wouldn't notice the truck in my driveway. This is pure speculation, but it's normal for me to be in for the night, especially after 6 p.m. I don't know if they missed me leaving or just saw me leave but figured I was home, but it really doesn't matter because I told them they couldn't park on my property. It was about 12:30 a.m. when the tow truck arrived and I half expected my neighbors to come running, but there wasn't any activity from them and the driver left with the truck without incident. I went in, shot off another email to my house owners association along with pictures and an explanation that I had towed the vehicle, and then went to bed. At 6 a.m. this morning I woke up to someone banging loudly and rapidly on my door. I didn't have to look. I knew who it was. I grabbed my phone, hit the video record button. Before I opened the door, I looked through the peephole and saw the dad and his son at my door. I opened the door and following the conversation, Dad, very angry and yelling, "Where is the truck?" Me, as calmly as I could state while coughing, "It was towed. You can call such and such company to make arrangements to get it back." Dad, "You didn't have the right to tow it. You're going to pay to get it back." Me, "I had every right to tow an unauthorized vehicle on my property. I told you not to park on my property and you did it anyway. It blocked me from getting in my driveway last night. I told you I was going to have it towed after the last time you parked without my permission, and I won't be paying anything to get it back." Dad, "You stole my truck, you F&B, and I'm calling the police. I'm going to sue you." Me, having enough of this. "Go ahead. In the meantime, I'm sick and I'm going back to bed." I closed the door and stood there for a moment. I looked out the peephole and they were still there. The dad started banging and was also ringing my doorbell nonstop. He knocked and rang my doorbell for another 4 minutes before he gave up. I am still recording all of this and I didn't turn off the video when he was gone. I turned and saw my kids standing there. The noise had gotten them up and I just advised that if they were still feeling ill, to just go back to bed because that was where I was going. Now I will honestly say that I didn't think he would call the police, but he did. It was about a half hour, I really wasn't looking at the clock, that I heard the doorbell ring. I got up and looked through the peephole and a police officer was there.